Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Latina Diaspora. For the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel, what we do here, we discuss issues pertaining to Latinos in the United States. I also have, of course, my main YouTube channel, which is Uncommon Sense with Jose Nico, where I discuss everyday issues and we try to find logical solutions. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, the subscribing role has been enabled, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you'll need to subscribe to the channel. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who've already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your love and continued support. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices, and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to do tonight's topic. We're going to be discussing myths regarding Latinas and their plan. Okay, so this is really more like educating my non-Latino supporters, just to let them know if they wish to date Latinas, to be mindful of who they are and to be educated, okay? And to disregard whatever myths that you heard regarding Latinas, okay? First of all, that not all Latinas are a bunch of sex kittens, and not all Latinas, the other extreme, which is basically going on with their heads covered in the shawl, praying the rosary, and things of that nature. But before we get into the main topic, we're gonna have another episode of In My Words. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Dragula Diaries and my friend Kesha. Okay, she's getting very close to the 1,000 sub mark, and I believe she'll reach that mark pretty soon if she has not reached it already. Now, for the benefit of those who are not familiar, she's into care regarding your hair, and for those individuals who are into dreadlocks. Okay, obviously that would not apply to me because the reality is I don't got much hair left. Okay, to make it do any headlocks, dreadlocks. However, there are many people who part of the dreadlock community, and of course, there's lots of questions regarding maintaining your proper hair care, how to do dreadlocks, how to wash it properly, and things of that nature. So she does do short videos. I mean, she hasn't done a lot of lives lately, but there is a lot of content. So I'm gonna ask you to show some love towards her, subscribe to her channel, and check out her content, whether you're into dreadlocks or not. Maybe you're not into dreadlocks, but maybe you're just curious about how they take care of their hair and things of that nature. So I would highly recommend subscribing to her channel. Now, of course, most people already know that on my main channel on Common Sense with Jose Negron, I already reached the 1K sub mark. Okay. And of course, a huge shout out and appreciation to my supporters, which I commonly refer to as the uncommon folk. Okay. So now the focus is going to be to try to increase the watch hours. So hopefully, at some point, I could be monetized, meaning I can start making money, have memberships, and things of that nature. Okay. Now, in all fairness, when I got into this world being a content creator, my mission was not that make money, make money out of YouTube because I have my own job, thank goodness. Um, it was just to produce content, and particularly like in 2021, in the middle of the COVID 19 pandemic, where many of us couldn't gather in large groups. So therefore, one of the ways that we got around it, and socializing with other people, was doing YouTube, doing lives. And of course, that brought a lot of great people, and also brought in some weirdos along the way. But that's the nature of things here in these YouTube streets. Now, the reality is, many of the people that did come to my platform, my main platform, are not producing content. Uh, some of them, they have their other responsibilities and things of that nature. Some of them might have lost the drive to create content, and I understand. It is time consuming. Okay, it's not just you just open up SpringYard and then you start talking. You need to stop. You need to think about the topics that you're going to talk about. You do need to do research regarding the topics, so you come across as somewhat accordingly. Okay. Not everyone has the drive to do that on a regular basis. Not everyone has the time or the energy to do that. Okay. You have content creators who have their families to take care of, they have their spouses to take care of, they have other responsibilities. So it's understandable if they don't devote a great deal of time and energy when they got other things that's that requires more of their attention. One of the things I have said, and I will continue to say, that it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Meaning, in order for you to be successful, you have to be prepared to produce content on a regular basis. Now, how you define regular, that's totally up to you. It could be one stream a week, two streams a week, it could be a couple of views, whatever. The point is, if you want to be successful as a content creator, you have to be prepared to put in the energy. You have to be prepared to put in the time and the hours to produce content. And there's going to be times where very few people are going to watch your content. And there's going to be times when you're going to have many people watch your content. Okay. You cannot let that, you know, get you down. Uh, from what I see, it does seem to operate in cycles. There are weeks where many people are watching your content, and then the other weeks where people are not consuming your content. So what you do is you continue to produce content. You take a look, um, regarding the content that you did, and you be honest with yourself, and you see where you can improve, and then you just plan accordingly. Okay. So for anyone that is seriously considering being a content creator on any social platform, uh, be prepared to be consistent. Be prepared to devote time and energy, and understand it's going to take a while for your channel to grow. Okay. Now, in my main channel, it took me, I would say, from July of August of 2021 to the end of 2024 to reach 500 subs. Okay. This year, and today is December the 7th, but it's still about just 24 days before the end of the year. And so far this year, I've gained 535 subs, meaning I gained more subs this year than the previous almost 3.5 years. And that I attribute that mainly to to the short videos that I produce. Okay, which means there's been many people who have seen my content. Okay, and it does seem I have two different type of audiences. I have one type of audience that watches and consumes my lives, which is small. And then I have another audience who are consuming my short videos, which appears to be large, okay? It does account for the number of subs. I would say that I probably gain at least out of the 535 subs I've gained this year, I would say at least 400 came from the short videos, probably more. But in any case, do not give up. Just try to be persistent, and you're going to see your channel will start to grow eventually. So, with that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. Now, before I continue, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and opine regarding the topic at hand, they may do so. Again, let me make this perfectly clear. If I never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage before I let you on the panel. And the reason why is that I want to make sure that no one tries to flash any pornographic images which will cause the people of YouTube to take down their stream. Once I determine you're not going to do that, then I'll let you on the panel. I don't think I'm going to be on long, maybe half an hour. Okay. So this message is really geared to the dudes who are not Latinos and thinking about dating Latinas. Now, depending who you speak with, they are either over sexualized kittens or they're extremely docile or they're a bunch of religious young people with headscarves praying the rosary. Um, Let me just tell you one thing. Latinas have, they are very competent, able to express their point of view, and they're not gonna put up with any nonsense. And they'll tell you where you screw up without giving a second thought. So let me just check and see. My apologies. Every now and then I do have to check and see if there's anybody watching. Okay. So the myths regarding Latinas are many. That they all curvy, busty with the big breasts and the big behinds and things of that nature, or they're a bunch of sex kittens. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some myths regarding Latinas. Okay. Now, number one is that they're all teen moms. Some had mothers who would let them date until they was almost out of high school. Real talk, Latinas have a higher rate of teen pregnancy than white teens, but they also have a dramatic increase in teen births. In fact, the expected teen birth rate has declined by 39% since 2007. That's very interesting indeed. Number two, they all dance salsa. Okay, first of all, there are some Latinas that do dance salsa. There's also some that dance merengue, and there's also some that really don't dance. Some Latinas prefer ballet. Some wish to have any kind of rhythm at all, and yet others don't care. Okay. Myth number three, and this is where some white people, I'm correct, Caucasian people get this wrong about Latinas. They're all hypersexual and seductive. A recent study found that Latinos are indeed most likely to appear nude or semi-nude in movies, probably because society likes to fetishize Latinos as sexy, spicy, sassy, and promiscuous. And there's no shortage of sexy, sensual Latina characters on TV like Sofia Vergara as Gloria in Modern Family, Natalie Rivera as in Satana and Glee, Eva Mendes in The Woman. But the reality is not all Latinos embody the stereotype or care what you think about them being sexy. Okay. No, not all Latinas are a bunch of sex kittens. In fact, there are some Latinas that do not believe in premarital intercourse. Okay, so something to consider. They're all super conservative and pro-life. It's true, generally speaking, Latinos tend to be more conservative than the general population. But a recent Pew report shows that 40% of Latinos think abortion should be legal in all cases, and 90% of the married Latinas who also identify as Catholic has used birth control banned by the Vatican, the National Latino Institute of Reproductive Health says. Okay. So, what that means is you have some Latinas who are into what's called reproductive rights. In other words, that they should be able to terminate uh, the pregnancy after a consultation with a doctor. Okay. Another myth regarding Latinos is all are recent immigrants. Obviously, immigration has become a hot button topic in recent months, and it's an important one. But it's worth noting that the U.S. had always had a large population of US-born Latinos whose family has been around for decades. People seem to forget that, which is true. Like, for example, when it comes to um, Puerto Ricans, they have been living in New York City, the very least, from the 1950s and the 1940s. Okay. Yes, there's been a huge increase of population uh, of Latinos in the United States. Part of it has to do with Latinos migrating from um, the Caribbean, Central America, and South America. Also, to bear in mind that there have been um, Latinos that have been here in the United States 2, 3, or even 4 generations. And one thing we have to understand, particularly in what's considered the southwest portion of the United States, in places like California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Nevada, Oklahoma, um, also Florida. There have been Latinos have been residing in the United States for generations, if not centuries. People tend to forget that the southwest portion of the United States and Florida was once part of the Spanish Empire. Okay. And then once, and then the Southwest became part of Mexico. Okay, so there have been Latinos that have been residing in definitely in the southwest portion of the United States and in Florida for centuries, since the 16th century. So the whole notion that Latinas are all immigrants is false. Yes, some of them came um, from Latin America, whether it be Mexico, whether it be the Dominican Republic, whether it be Cuba, whether it be for any of the Latin American countries. The fact of the matter is, there's been a sizable Latino population residing in the United States for centuries. Another myth about Latinas is that they're all curvy. This is an annoying one because seriously, it's hard to live up to a leader's never-ending, unrealistic expectations of what's sexy as a woman in the U.S. Well, having me remind every day that I would never look like Salma Hayek or Rosalind Sanchez. Let me make this perfectly clear. Not every Latina have huge breasts. Not every Latina have big butts. Okay. You have Latinas that have small breasts. You have Latinos that have small butts. Okay. And let me tell you something. You don't have to have huge breasts and a big butt to look beautiful. You could have a small bust line and a small behind and be beautiful too. Okay. There are other aspects of beauty like your face, your smile, your skin, how you take care of your skin. Okay. And I can understand some of them being upset because they're not looked upon as beautiful because they don't have a huge bust line, or they have or their butt is not humongous. Okay. Look, not everyone needs to have a big bust line and a big butt to look beautiful. You can look beautiful in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of it has to do with attitude. Okay? And not everyone is thin as around. You have some Latinas that are obese, and they can look beautiful even as an obese person. It all has to do with the attitude. Now, my ex-wife, okay, um, she was not thin by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, um, some people would not consider her the typical Latina because she was overweight. I didn't care about it. Okay, I actually love her for what I perceived she was. She seemed to be a good person. She seemed to have a person that had similar values, and that was something that was more attractive about me than the fact that she had a butt and breasts. Unfortunately, you have some guys who are hung up with the big bust line and with the big butt. Okay, And again, it all has to do with attitude, attitude, attitude. You could you can be a female with a small butt, small breasts, and still look beautiful and still look sexy. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. Now let's continue with another myth. They're all coming over to the border to have anchor babies. And when I mean anchor babies, basically what it is Latinas who come to the United States with the express purpose of giving birth to children in the United States. So because once they are born, they are automatically become U.S. citizens. In 2010, some conservative politicians called a repeal of the 14th Amendment, which grants automatic citizenship to anyone born in USO, saying it was attracting undocumented immigrants to the US to have babies. However, in a 2010 Pew report found the primary reason many immigrants come to the US is for job security or to save poverty, with having a baby as a third factor. Okay. Now, are there Latinas who are undocumented who come to the United States and then their children are born in the U.S.? Yes, it's we cannot deny it, but it's not like there's a big rush of Latinas that get themselves pregnant so they can come over here and give birth to children, and children get to automatically granted U.S. citizenship. Many of them come here for a better life, a life which they, for whatever reason, see that's not possible in their countries of origin. Another myth is they all grew up poor. First, I want to stress that there's nothing wrong with growing up with a lot of money. But every time you turn to on a movie or a TV show, you see Latina characters who are struggling to make it out of the hood or whose only dream is to get out of poverty. A 2011 study did find that the poverty rate for Hispanic immigrants is higher than the national average. But a 2013 study found that the second generation Latinos, US born to immigrant parents, are doing better than their parents in all social economic factors which suggest things are potentially changing. Okay. So what that means is the second generation things get better because they get more adapted to life in the US. Many of them learn English. Many of them are able to improve their economic situation and they can leave poverty. They all speak Spanish in bed, but I don't even want to elaborate on this one. But let me just say this. I found myself in a situation before any of the guys want to know to speak Spanish in the middle. Well, it's pretty much an awkward as you are thinking for a couple of reasons. One, not all Latinos speak Spanish. And two, and even they do, ugh, no one likes to feel like they do some sort of weird masturbation fantasy about about banging a Latina, which goes back to the notion that all Latinos are a bunch of super hyper sex kittens. No, yeah, it's not. I mean, it's true many of them like sex, but it's not like they're a bunch of nymphomaniacs for all crying out loud. Okay, and this after this, I'm going to share a couple more myths. They all want a bunch of children, a ton of children or big families. Some do. Some on the fence about children, and some of us know that we shouldn't be allowed within 10 feet of a baby. Not every Latina wants to be the mother of 10 or 15 children. Okay, You have some Latinas that don't want any children, and you have some that maybe they might want one or two. Okay? Because think about it. You know what? And this is something men will never experience. Imagine going through 9 months of pregnancy, 9 months of changes in your body, 9 months of having your hormones all, disjointed. 9 months of going through cravings. 9 months of being uncomfortable. 9 months of having someone in your womb kicking or letting them know that they are alive. I mean, that is and as the pregnancy continues, it gets very uncomfortable and it gets very stressful for women. Okay. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, I will never know what it is to be pregnant. Okay. I can say this much. It is not an easy thing for women to go through this. And I don't know how, in goodness gracious, my mother was able to go through pregnancy 9 times. Okay, when you think about it, and the pregnancy is 9 months long. So you take 9 times 9. That means my mother was in a state of pregnancy 81 months. That is almost 7 years of her life that my mother was pregnant. Okay, and she gave birth to my youngest sibling at age 40. Okay, and it was considered a high risk pregnancy. Okay, of which she was advised to terminate the pregnancy. But my mother, being a woman of prayer and as a devout Catholic, made the decision that she was going to carry the child to term. Okay. Other women would have said no, but my mother did. Now let me just give you another myth regarding Latinas. Not all of them are Catholic. Okay. You have some who are Catholic. You have some who are um, different Protestant denominations. You have some women, Latinas, who are um, non denominational Christians. You have some who are Jewish, some who are Muslim, and some who are either atheist or agnostic. So not all Latinas are Catholic. Not all of them pray the rosary. Okay, not all of them have devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. Okay, so hopefully, um, some of those myths will be able to go out the window. Oh, and another myth regarding Latinas, they're all the same. No, a Latina that was born and raised in the Dominican Republic in some ways is different from a Latina born in Central America, South America, okay? And then you have the Latinos that were born and raised in the United States. Okay. Not all Latinas think the same. Not all Latinas have the same culture. Not all Latinas grew up with the same values. Now, there are some things that are common. One of them, of course, is the fact that many Latinas do speak Spanish. Another thing is common, and this is common regarding Latinos in general, is the fact that there is a strong Catholic influence. Okay, because one thing we have to bear in mind, um, for many centuries, particularly when Latin America was part of the Spanish Empire. The only faith system was Catholicism. Okay, okay, which explains why there's a strong Catholic influence, even among those Latinos that were identified themselves as evangelical, born again, or Pentecostal. Okay, even with that, the Catholic influence have not gone completely away from them. Okay, so so hopefully, and I say hopefully, and I caution it that some people will start to wake up and realize that not all Latinos the same. Now, I'm going to give you some advice. If you're thinking about dating a Latina, number one, be mindful of the fact that not all Latinos are the same. There is a big difference with Latinas that were born and raised in the United States as compared to Latinos that come from Latin America. One of the big differences is that Latinas in the United States, while some of them maintain the customs of their countries of origin, have adapted to life in the U.S. Many of them uh, have a mind of their own. They will express themselves. Um, don't try to deceive them. Be honest with them. Okay. Now, some of them can be very jealous and clingy. Okay. One thing, and I'm going to say this regarding um, Dominican women in general, and I can say this because I dated 3 Dominican women. While they tend to be more or less the wifey types, they are jealous. They're the jealous type, and they will let you know. And heaven forbid if some female decide to get cute and decide to flirt with you in front of your girlfriend. That's not going to go very well. Okay. In fact, the only women that I know that are more jealous and more possessive are Filipinas. Now, one thing about Dominican women, they tend to be very territorial about their name. They'll cook for their man, they'll clean for their man, they'll sleep with their man, but boy, they don't you dare try to think about having someone else. It's not going to end well for you. Okay, and I've seen it. Fortunately, I have not tried it. I would even dare try it. Okay, I know better. And also, try to learn something about their culture. If you decide to date a Dominican woman, try to ask questions about the culture and ask and learn and about certain things like family and things of that nature. One thing about Dominican women, they value family very much. Okay, and of course, the approval of the mom is extremely important because they tend to pay very close attention to their moms. I was thinking it's more or less the same thing with every Latina woman, but particularly with Dominican women. Don't assume that all Latinas are the same. And it's not going to hurt you if you try to learn some Spanish, particularly if you're going to interact with their families because not everyone speaks Spanish. And don't be embarrassed if your Spanish comes across like Frank Purdue. Okay, most okay most Latino families will cut you some grace if you at least try to speak in Spanish, even if you mispronounce words. They go to see it that you're at least trying. Okay, some might make fun with you, but for the most part, they will appreciate the fact that you're at least making an effort. Okay. So learn some of the customs, learn some of the traditions, okay? Whether it be dating a Mexican, dating a Colombian, dating a Ecuadorian, a Puerto Rican, a Dominican, or what have you. Okay. And the most important thing, don't assume. I think if you apply all these things, um, you will be relatively successful um, dating Latinas. And with that being said, I'm going to start to wrap this up. I will be live. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Probably next Sunday or Tuesday next week. And the well, I will announce it on one of my lives on my main channel this week when the next time I'll be live. It'll be sometime next week. In the meanwhile, you're more than welcome to share the content. Please spread the word, particularly if you're thinking about dating Latinas, and hopefully you'll do away with some of these myths. Okay. And with that being said, I will be live tomorrow night on my main channel at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time when I'll be talking about Christmas. I'll be talking about some of the origins of Christmas, some of the customs of Christmas, and things of that nature. So, with that being said, we're going to close the same way that we always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by the stupidity and massive insanity. And whatever you say and do for the glory of God. So, with that being said, I wish you all a very pleasant good night. Have a great and wonderful week. And stay blessed. And peace.
Be strong.